Your mother is dead to us. Amanda's voice slithered through the air like poison as she knelt before my children, her lips curled in a wicked smirk. Your dad's new wife is your real mom now. Isn't that right, kids? Emma, just 8 years old, pressed her trembling hands to her ears, while 6-year-old Lucas clutched his sister's arm, his sobs silent but gut-wrenching. I stood frozen in the doorway of my ex-husband's house, my pulse roaring in my ears. I had come to pick them up from their weekend visit, only to walk into this. That's enough, Amanda, I said, forcing my voice to stay steady despite the fury surging inside me. Years of medical training had taught me how to maintain control in the face of chaos. Emma, Lucas, get your bags. We're leaving. Amanda turned to me, her manicured nails tapping against the granite countertop, her expression dripping with satisfaction. Oh look, the abandoned wife finally graces us with her presence. Her eyes flicked over me, searching for cracks in my armor. How does it feel knowing Mark traded you in for someone younger? Prettier? I ignored her. She wasn't worth my breath. My children were. Come on, sweethearts, I murmured, kneeling to their level. Mom's here now. It had been 6 months since Mark walked out, leaving behind the wreckage of our marriage for his perky, wide-eyed dental hygienist, Jessica. The divorce had been brutal, but I had fought to keep things civil for the sake of my children. Amanda, however, had waged a private war, one she intended to win by turning Emma and Lucas against me. We barely made it to the car before Lucas broke the silence. Aunt Amanda said you didn't love us enough to keep our family together, he whispered, his little fingers curling tightly around mine. The words gutted me. I crouched in front of him, brushing his tear-streaked cheek with my thumb. Lucas, sweetheart, listen to me. Sometimes grown-ups stop loving each other, but that has nothing to do with how much we love you. I will always, always love you and Emma more than anything in this world. Emma stood a few feet away, her arms crossed. At 8, she was trying to make sense of something far beyond her years. Then why did Daddy leave? Why does he love Jessica more than us? My throat tightened. Get in the car, baby, I said gently. We'll talk about this at home. As I pulled out of the driveway, I saw Amanda standing at the window, watching, smirking. She had resented me from the beginning, the ambitious trauma surgeon who had put herself through medical school while her brother was still finding himself. When Mark left, she had finally been set free to spit out the venom she had kept bottled up for years. The drive home was thick with silence, heavy with questions too painful to answer in a single car ride. I thought about the years of Amanda's snide remarks, the whispered accusations that my career had made me a bad wife, the way she had delighted in my downfall. Back home, I made hot chocolate, the ritual that had always soothed my children's worst days. As they clutched their mugs, I searched for the right words. You know how sometimes at school, you might stop being friends with someone? I asked gently. It doesn't mean either of you is bad, just that you've grown apart. That's what happened with Daddy and me. But that doesn't change how much we both love you. Emma frowned. Aunt Amanda says Daddy chose Jessica because she's younger and prettier. I exhaled slowly, suppressing the ache those words ignited. Beauty isn't just about looks, sweetheart. It's about kindness, about how you treat people. It's about love. Lucas climbed onto my lap, pressing his chocolate-sticky cheek against my shoulder. I don't want a new mom. I want you. I wrapped both of them in my arms, holding them as tightly as I could. And you have me. Always. That night, after I tucked them into bed, I sat alone in my home office, staring at the framed family photos I still couldn't bring myself to take down. My phone buzzed. A message from Amanda. The kids deserve better than a mother who puts her career first. They're better off with Jessica. I didn't respond. Instead, I opened my laptop and began documenting everything. The insults, the manipulation, the emotional warfare. Something told me I would need this record soon. And I was right. Because what came next would test everything I believed about love, about justice, and about how far I would go to protect my children. 3 months passed in a blur of hospital shifts, custody exchanges, and the exhausting effort of rebuilding my children's confidence. Emma and Lucas were in therapy, slowly unraveling the tangled emotions of their father's betrayal and Amanda's relentless poison. I documented every cruel remark, every manipulative whisper, building a case to limit their exposure to her toxicity. Then came the night that changed everything. I was midway through a grueling 12-hour shift in the ER when the double doors burst open. Paramedics rushed in, their voices sharp and urgent. Female, mid-30s, severe allergic reaction. Airways closing fast, she's crashing. I turned and the world tilted. Amanda lay on the gurney, her face grotesquely swollen, gasping for breath. Behind her, my ex-husband Mark kept pace, his face ashen. She ate something with shellfish, he stammered. She didn't know. Dr. Carter, the head nurse, interrupted. We need you now. For one split second, I hesitated. The woman before me, the one now clawing at her throat, fighting for air, had spent months trying to tear my children from me. Just last week, she had told Emma that I chose work over my family, that I wanted to be away from them. Now her life was in my hands. Get me an epinephrine injection, I ordered, pushing everything aside, and start an IV line. I wasn't a mother in this moment. I wasn't the woman she had tried to break. I was a doctor, and doctors saved lives, even when they didn't deserve it. Dr. Carter, her throat's completely closed. No time. No hesitation. Emergency tracheotomy. Now. Mark paled. Wait. Alex is doing the surgery. Can't someone else? There isn't time, I snapped, already making the first incision. She'll die if we wait. The next 20 minutes were a storm of precision and adrenaline. My hands never wavered. My mind stayed sharp. I shut out the memories, the barbed insults, the gleeful jabs, the damage done to my children, and did what I was trained to do. And then, her breathing steadied. The immediate danger passed. She's stable, I announced, stripping off my gloves. Start her on antihistamines. Keep her overnight. As I turned to leave, Mark caught my arm. Alex, thank you. I know things haven't been. I took an oath. I interrupted, my voice steel. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have other patients. I made it halfway down the hallway before ducking into an empty consultation room. My hands trembled as the adrenaline wore off. I had just saved the life of the woman who had spent the last year trying to destroy mine. The confrontation. The next morning, as I finished my shift, Amanda's nurse approached me. She's asking for you. Want me to tell her you're unavailable? I should. But something in me whispered go. When I stepped into Amanda's room, she was propped up in bed, the swelling in her face reduced. She looked smaller, defenseless without her usual armor of makeup and contempt. How are you feeling? I kept my tone neutral, professional. Like I almost died, she rasped, and like I owe you my life. I flicked through her charts. The emergency team did their job. Be more careful about what you eat. Alex, she said softly. I stilled. She had never called me by my name before. I know what I've done to you. To the kids. She swallowed. Horrible doesn't even begin to cover it. I sighed. This isn't necessary. It is, she insisted. Because when I was lying there, unable to breathe, all I could think about was how cruel I've been. How I've hurt those kids because I was jealous of you. I blinked. Jealous. Tears welled in her eyes. You've always been. Everything I wasn't. The successful doctor, the amazing mother. Even after Mark left, you held it together. I wanted to prove you weren't as perfect as everyone thought. I wanted to hurt you. By hurting my children? My voice wavered. Her lip trembled. I was wrong. So wrong. And then last night, you saved me without hesitation. You had every reason to walk away, but you didn't. I sank into the chair beside her bed, exhaustion pressing down on me. Amanda, I'm not perfect, I murmured. I've made mistakes. Plenty of them. But my children, they're the one thing I've done right. And watching you try to turn them against me, that's been the hardest thing I've ever endured. She reached for my hand. And this time, I didn't pull away. I'm so sorry, Alex. I know it doesn't fix anything, but I am truly, deeply sorry. For the first time since meeting Amanda, I saw something real. Not malice. Not manipulation. Just regret. I exhaled slowly. The kids have therapy on Thursday. If you're really sorry, you'll tell them the truth. About everything. She nodded, tears spilling over. I will. I promise. As I left her room, something inside me shifted. Not forgiveness. Not yet. But something lighter. The smallest possibility that maybe, just maybe, My children wouldn't have to grow up carrying the weight of Amanda's hatred. The aftermath. That night, as I tucked Emma and Lucas into bed, Emma hesitated. Mom, is Aunt Amanda going to be okay? Yes, sweetie, I murmured, smoothing her hair. She's going to be fine. Lucas blinked sleepily. Did you save her? I smiled faintly. I did what doctors do. I helped someone who needed help. Emma frowned. Even though she's mean to us. I thought for a moment. Sometimes, I said carefully, being kind to people who haven't been kind to us changes things in ways we never expect. As I turned out their lights, I realized how true that was. Tomorrow would bring new battles. Amanda's apology didn't erase the past. But for the first time in months, I had hope. Hope that wounds could heal. That truth could mend what lies had broken. That maybe, just maybe, kindness had the power to change everything. Thursday arrived faster than I expected. In the waiting room of Dr. Peters' office, Emma and Lucas sat quietly, coloring while we waited for Amanda. When she walked in, she lacked her usual confident stride. Instead, she clutched her purse as if it were a shield, her eyes searching the room nervously. Aunt Amanda. Emma looked up, surprised. Are you sick again? No, sweetheart, Amanda replied softly. I'm here to talk to you and Lucas. To tell you some very important things. Dr. Peters welcomed us into her office, arranging the chairs in a small circle. Lucas immediately climbed into my lap, while Emma sat between Amanda and me, her eyes flickering with uncertainty. Amanda has something she'd like to share with you both. Dr. Peters began gently. Remember how we talked about feelings being complicated and how it's okay to feel different things at the same time? Both children nodded. Amanda took a deep breath. Emma, Lucas, she began, her voice trembling slightly. I need to tell you that I was very wrong about a lot of things. I said things about your mom that weren't true, and that wasn't fair, to you or to her. Lucas tightened his grip on my hand, like when he said Mommy didn't love us. Amanda's eyes filled with tears. Yes, exactly like that. Those were lies, and I'm so sorry I told them. Your mom loves you more than anything in the world. She's an amazing mother who would do anything for you. Emma frowned, her voice sharp with hurt. Then why did you say those mean things? Why did you try to make us love Jessica more? Amanda swallowed hard. Because I was jealous, she admitted. I was angry about things that had nothing to do with you, and I took it out on you and your mom. That was wrong of me. As Amanda continued, she apologized for specific moments, unraveling the web of lies she had spun. I watched as Emma and Lucas absorbed her words, their expressions shifting between confusion, hurt, and something softer, understanding. Your mother proved what kind of person she is when I was in the hospital. Amanda continued. She saved my life, even though I had been horrible to her. That's the kind of person your mom is, someone who helps others, even when they don't deserve it. Emma turned to me, her wide eyes filled with wonder. Is that true, Mom? Did you really save Aunt Amanda? I nodded. It's what doctors do, honey. We help people who need help. Even mean people? Lucas asked innocently. Even mean people, I confirmed. Because sometimes people can change and become better. Dr. Peters guided the conversation, helping Emma and Lucas express their feelings. Amanda listened, really listened, as they shared how her words had confused and hurt them. I don't expect you to forgive me right away, Amanda told them sincerely. What I did was wrong, and I understand if it takes time to trust me again. But I promise I'm going to try to be a better aunt to you both. As the session ended, a weight I hadn't realized I was carrying lifted slightly. It wasn't perfect. The past couldn't be undone. But it was a start. In the parking lot, Amanda hesitated before speaking. Alex, I've been thinking. I want to talk to Mark about modifying the custody arrangements. The kids shouldn't have to go through so many changeovers. They need more stability, with you. I studied her, looking for any sign of manipulation, but found only sincerity. Thank you, I said simply. Over the next few months, things shifted. Amanda kept her word, not just stopping her campaign against me, but actively working to repair the damage. She even spoke to Mark, encouraging him to be more present in the kids' lives instead of trying to replace me with Jessica. One Sunday afternoon, while I was in the garden with Emma and Lucas, Amanda stopped by, holding out a small paper bag. Peace offering, she said hesitantly. Seed packets. I thought the kids might like to learn about growing their own food. Emma, who had been wary of Amanda's changes, brightened. Can we plant tomatoes, Mom? like the ones in the hospital garden you told us about. As I watched Amanda kneel beside them, patiently explaining how to plant each seed, I realized something. Change wasn't always grand gestures. Sometimes it was in the quiet moments, the small steps toward something better. That night, as I tucked the kids into bed, Emma asked, "Mom, is it okay that I'm starting to like Aunt Amanda again?" I smoothed her hair. "Of course it is, sweetheart. People can change when they really want to. And it seems like Aunt Amanda really wants to. Because you saved her?" Lucas piped up from his bed. I thought for a moment. "No," I said softly. "I think sometimes people save themselves. They just need a reason to try." As I closed their bedroom door, I exhaled. The emergency that had brought Amanda to my operating table hadn't just saved her life. It had given our family a chance to heal. There were still difficult moments, still wounds that would take time to mend. But we were moving forward. And sometimes that was the biggest victory of all.